Welcome to another episode of A Breath of Fresh Jacob, where I gotta say, I just saw what the question is, and I'm pretty excited. This is gonna be a good one. Today's question is brought to you by That's Me, with 4 E's, and asks, best video game music composers. Ooh, you shouldn't have asked that. Buckle up, here we go. All right, so first of all, I could be here all day talking about video game music composers because I'm a nerd, I can't help it. So I'm going to try to limit to how many I go through. That does not mean that if I didn't list them, I don't like them. It's just, I'm going to pull these off the top of my head and we're going to go for it. And when I feel like I've gone too long, I'll stop. Okay, cool. So first, I have to mention, oh yeah, here's another thing. Hey, disclaimer, some of these are probably going to be Japanese. So I'm probably going to screw somebody's name up, and I'm sorry, but I'm a stupid American, so deal with it. All right, so first, Nobuo Uematsu. Big surprise that he's on here, but my favorite game ever is Final Fantasy VIII, so how could he not be on here? Legendary composer for, like, so many Final Fantasy games, and other stuff, too. You know, like, he was one of the founding members of the Black Mages, which did, like, the remixes of the Final Fantasy stuff, and some other stuff that wasn't Final Fantasy as well. But, like, there's so much that he's done. It's all amazing. He's one of my favorite people ever. If you know video games, you've probably heard his music. Anyway, second. Oh, and also, these are in no particular order, so, you know, whatever. Can't have a list of video game music composers for me and not mention Grant Kirkhope. I mean, like, those of you that know me, Grant Kirkhope is like, out of everyone on this list, he's the one I would want to meet the most. Just for me to tell him, hey, the music that you made is not only important to me now as an adult, but it was super important to me as a child and helped me love music the way that I did as a kid and the way I do now as an adult. Like, the music that he made, especially with Banjo-Kazooie and GoldenEye. Super important parts of my life. Anyway, not gonna get like sobby or any shit like that, but yeah, for those of you who don't know who Grant Kirkhope is, Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye, Donkey Kong 64, Viva Pinata, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. He did the music for a movie that had Pierce Brosnan in it, which means my whole life has come full circle now. Anyway, I'm not gonna stick here on Grant Kirkhope for too long because we got a lot to get through and not enough time to do it, but just know that I love Grant Kirkhope. His music's amazing. He's an amazing person, and I want to meet him one day. Okay, cool. Graeme Norgate. Okay, so when I talk about GoldenEye and how much I love it, I mean, channel name, Secret Agent Jacob. Come on, I love James Bond. Grant Kirkhope did not do GoldenEye 64's soundtrack alone. Graeme Norgate also contributed to that significantly. And I feel like he doesn't get credited enough because he did great work too. They both did a fantastic job on that wonderful soundtrack. Also did the music for Time Splitters, I believe, which I swear one of these days I'll get around to playing those. I hear that they're quite good. I just never works out for me that way. Hey, you know, while I'm thinking about it for GoldenEye, Robin Beanland did the elevator music in GoldenEye, and those are some of the best elevator musics I've ever heard. So extra little shout out for Robin Beanland. Okay, next. David Wise, okay? And I know you're thinking, my God, you're just hitting all the Rareware people. Like, but it's true though, because David Wise is the reason, the sole reason that Diddy Kong Racing is the best racing game of all time. That's right, I said it, and I mean it. You want a great example of that music being beautiful? Not from Diddy Kong Racing, but from Donkey Kong Country, Aquatic Ambience, right? Like, most of you have probably heard that. What a track. What a stellar track. Anyway, I'm gonna move on, because we got a lot of stuff to get through. Oh, what's his name? Did the Persona music. Shoji Meguro, I think? Bad with names. But yeah, Persona music. Persona music is so good. If you've played Persona, you know what I mean. Amazing compositions. Oh, God, what was his name? He's a movie composer. Harry Williams? something like that. Anyway, does a bunch of movie stuff, but also did some of the Metal Gear Solid music. Charles will put the name up there. I think I got it right, maybe. It might have like another, I don't know. Anyway, it's up there. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Moving on. Koji Kondo, right? So, like, your Mario and your Zeldas. You can't talk about best video game music composers and not bring up Koji Kondo because, I mean, Zelda and Mario, of course, right? Great, but I'm not going to stay on that one too long. Pretty much everybody knows who that is. So, Akira Yamaoka? Silent Hill. When I think of Silent Hill specifically for the music, I usually think of Silent Hill 2, the piano version of, was it Promises? Really, really good. Absolutely love that song. Okay, so another one, right? So Jimmy Hinson, also known as BigGiantCircles. He did some of the music for, like, some of the Call of Duty games, like Black Ops 2, Black Ops Cold War. Borderlands 2, did some of the music in Borderlands 2. Did one of the songs in Mass Effect 2, which is really cool. And some indie games. If you've heard of There Came an Echo, Jimmy did the music for that. I bring up Jimmy because, fun fact, right? One of Jimmy's songs from that game, There Came an Echo, was used on Season 2 of Stranger Things. It's always really cool to me to see video game music hit like a mainstream source like that, right? I love that. I love that. Now, admittedly, I do have some bias, as I was actually fortunate enough to meet Jimmy in person at a convention, and we got to hang out, play some arcade games. Just a super cool dude, super nice dude, super fun to hang out with. I'm very fortunate to be able to call him a friend. And in fact, actually, he and I, along with the 8-Bit Drummer and Chatia, actually did a few rounds of Mario Party over on my main series here on YouTube, Field Ops with Friends, which I believe actually just went up yesterday. So, you know, if you want to go check that out and see what else we got cooking, I will put a link to that in the description, and maybe like a clickable thing at the end of the video. Anyway, Jimmy's awesome. Some of his music was in Just Shapes and Beats, so if you hear some really cool songs in there, look out for BigGiantCircles. It's really cool. Anyway, we love you, Jimmy. All right. What else? Danny Baranowsky. Danny Baranowsky did some awesome music. Super Meat Boy, which I'm terrible at. The original Binding of Isaac, which I'm terrible at. Crypt of the Necrodancer, which I'm terrible at. I'm noticing a pattern here. Anyway, so Jules Conroy. Speaking of Crypt of the Necrodancer, Jules Conroy, also known as FamilyJules. Probably more known for his metal covers, which are awesome, by the way. Does amazing metal covers of video game music. Absolutely love them. And while he has recorded music for things like Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, I think it was like DLC for Crypt of the Necrodancer. He's also composed video game music, which is why I definitely wanted to include him here. There was a game that came out last year called Infernax that was really, really good, and Jules did some of the, composed some of the music for that, which is really, really cool. You really like to see people that, you know, that can really shred on a guitar, make some crazy metal covers, also be able to compose music. It's something that's really cool to me, because, you know, when you see people like headbanging and like the hair going everywhere, you don't picture someone sitting down and writing music. There's a bit of a disconnect there, and it's really cool to know that there doesn't have to be a disconnect there. I just really like that. Also, Jules is awesome, so go check out Jules. Alex Moukala, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all, but I'll tell you what, one of the coolest fashion sense-wise, oh my god, like, go check his stuff out on YouTube, because what I think he's known more for is doing videos where he'll, like, analyze video game music. I don't know that I want to say react to it, but, like talk about, like, the fine details of the music that you might not notice unless you're like a music composer, right? And those are really cool videos. And also composes for games. But, oh my god, like, just some of his videos, he has, like, the coolest outfits I've ever seen. Like, the dude's fashion sense is, like, on another world. It's wild. And makes incredible funky remixes. I'm a big fan of the One Winged Angel remix that he did. It's really funky because he does it with bass guitars. Anyway, sorry, getting distracted again. Oh my god, I feel so bad. I don't remember her name. But the one that did a lot of Castlevania. Oh, what was her name? I want to say her first name's Michiru, but I cannot remember the last name. Charles, help me out. Put it up there. Anyway, did a bunch of work on Castlevania games, and I am a sucker for classical sounding music that blends with other genres and instruments that you wouldn't normally find in there, which is why Castlevania music is so cool to me. I love that Baroque style of it. Anyway, sorry, getting distracted again. Toby Fox. So Toby Fox, right? I wouldn't say has done as much work as a lot of the people on this list, but Undertale, right? Now, here's the thing, all right? I know everyone still praises Undertale like it's the second coming of Christ, and it gets annoying, but you can't say shit about Toby Fox's composition skills. The Undertale soundtrack is near perfection. Like, it is such a good soundtrack that it alone is enough for me to say that Toby Fox is one of my favorite video game music composers. And don't get me wrong, I love the game. I love Undertale, even if its fan base is rabid for some reason. I love the game, but the soundtrack is what elevates that game for me. And whenever I think Undertale, I think of the soundtrack, not the game. The game is still great. But anyway, you know what? I can think of one that maybe people haven't heard of as much. Motoi Sakuraba, I believe is the name. Does music for loads of video games and has been doing so for a long time, but it's one of those names where it's not as familiar, right? Like, it doesn't, you hear the name and you're just like, who? But you've probably heard some of their music, right? Golden Sun, some of the Tales games, I think Tales of Symphonia, Eternal Sonata, Dark Souls, right? So, like, loads of stuff that you've probably heard. It's just one of those names that kind of falls under the radar some. Oh my god, how many have I listed? Like 13, 14, 15? That's probably enough. I could sit here forever and gush about video game music. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. Just know that video game music composers are amazing, and they are important parts of the industry, and I don't think they get enough credit, but the music that is in video games is some of the most important stuff. Thank you, everyone that makes music for video games. Thank you for doing what you do. I appreciate it, and a bunch of people appreciate you, even if it doesn't seem like it sometimes, because I know how the industry can be. But anyway, I'm gonna go. You guys have yourselves a wonderful rest of your whatever day it is, because I'm not psychic. Share this with your friends. Share this with your friends that like music, or video games, or composers, or just share with everybody. Please, I need the subs. Okay, bye.